Maybe I need to buy a house with a pool, and maybe I need to get it inspected. We know buying a house can be one of the most stressful events in anyone's life, and the process of going through the home inspection sometimes can add even more stress. So to help us reduce that stress, we're joined by Jason Adams, the owner of HomeTeam Inspection Service, to talk about home inspections. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thanks, Evan. Thanks for having me.
We talk about that stress level. This is a really important part of buying a home. Could you talk about why that inspection is so critical?
Well, there's many things that we look at in a home that your average home buyer may or may not see. We go in all the places. Today, I'm doing an inspection later today, and I'm not looking forward to being in the attic because it's going to be hot. I'll probably do that as soon as I get there so that I can keep it as cool as possible. But we get in all the places that you probably aren't going to go. And we bring all the experience of past inspections and just life experience to try to educate the home buyer on what they're getting.
Yeah, this is such a critical step for the home buyer. What sort of protection does an inspection offer to the buyer and I suppose to the seller as well?
It really gives them the protection of knowing what they're getting.
Yeah.
I'm not there to tell somebody whether or not to buy a home. I'm there to tell them exactly what they're buying. They work with their agent to decide whether or not that home is for them. And so, like I said, we provide them with the information and look into the places they may not.
Yeah, that makes sense. You talked about climbing into that attic later today. What are some of the lesser known jobs that you have to do or places you have to go while inspecting a home?
Attics, crawl spaces. If a home has a crawl space, there's a lot of plumbing and electrical in there that you don't see because it's all hidden. And so that's one of the places where, I'm going to go down with all the spiders. You don't have to.
I bet. All right. I have to ask you, what's the craziest thing you've seen while doing an inspection?
Probably, I was inspecting a home for a buyer that was for their 1-year warranty inspection. So we inspected about 11 months so that they can get those items taken care of by their builder. And the check valve had come off the sump pump some time ago, and sump pump was just fountaining into the crawl space and eroding the dirt around the sump pit and the foundation. The builder did a good job of repairing it, but if I hadn't gone down there, she would have never known.
Perfect example of a place that the average person isn't going in their home, but you'll go there.
Yes, absolutely.
It's been about 6 years since we bought our house. I was mentioning to you during the break how fascinating it was to watch the inspection process go through. When we talk about home inspections, have they changed much over time, or are they pretty standard from decade to decade?
Home inspections back in the day started with people who were familiar with construction, and then slowly but surely over the years, we've gotten more professional education involved. And so we have now 2 educating agencies that really help fill in the gaps for home inspections.
Yeah.
When I decided to get into home inspections, I did it because I felt like I knew a good amount of what I was looking for. But there's always gaps in your knowledge, and having a formal schooling to help you fill in those gaps is important.
Yeah.
And a lot of good home inspectors around the state do that, and they belong to these different entities, and it just helps us do a good job.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you're always learning something new, and
Absolutely.
I certainly learned some new stuff today as well. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing your expertise with us.
Yes, thanks, Evan.
Absolutely, we appreciate it. Yeah.